Tomorrow, April 3rd, is a weather alert day. What's going on, guys? Certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas back with you. The strong storms move into North Florida tonight, blast into Central Florida tomorrow, and then the colder air rushes back in for a lot of the Florida Peninsula and Panhandle. We're going to break that all down for you over the next couple of minutes. We'll start off with the threat area, then we'll have the high-resolution timeline, and then we'll talk about the winds that also crank up big time tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be April 3rd, and then the chill that follows. So first things first, the severe weather threat starts tonight, later on this evening for the Panhandle of Florida. You see there, level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. That's going to be that yellow shaded area for most of the Panhandle of Florida. Again, this is for later this evening into the early morning hours of tomorrow for Pensacola, into Milton, into Geneva, just to the west of Lake City. The higher severe threat, though, is just to our north, just over the Florida-Georgia line, and also over the Alabama-Florida border as well, where you see that orange shaded color. That's the enhanced risk, but a few of those really nasty storms could blast in. So that is the risk area for late tonight into the early morning hours of Wednesday, April 3rd. Now, you see this. The severe weather threat continues to increase and expand through the Florida Peninsula. This is going to be for tomorrow, April 3rd. That's going to be Wednesday. Now, this does include Lake City, Jacksonville, Gainesville, into Daytona Beach, Ocala, Titusville, Orlando, Sanford, Kissimmee, St. Cloud, into Point Siena, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, into Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Fort Pierce, into Melbourne. Expanding severe weather threat. Again, this is going to be part of something that you're likely going to hear national headlines on. Big-time severe weather outbreak for April 2nd. Mainly to our north, into the Great Lakes, Ohio, and then into that area where I showed you just north of the Florida line. So that is the risk area for tonight into tomorrow. Now, here's what's actually going to impact you. I want to show you the timeline for the entire state of Florida here. Here we go again. Though that nasty line of thunderstorms blast in. Now, you see the time. That risk area for tonight, as designated by the Storm Prediction Center, goes until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's why we're still included in that for today. But you see overnight in the wee morning hours, really nasty thunderstorms towards Port St. Joe, Apalachicola, to the west of right around Tallahassee. This continues to blast right on through. Now, the deal with tomorrow is the later that the line of storms passes through, the higher potential for some stronger and damaging storms is going to be, because we're able to crank up the solar heating a little bit and warm things up and really boost the instability. So we're going to be watching that closely. So Jacksonville, there's 11 o'clock. These are rolling through. Gainesville into Ocala. Note the darker purples and whites that are showing up. Let me bring up my arrow and I'll point out what I'm talking about here. If it's going to play ball with me. There we go as we move toward Cedar Key. As we move out to the west of Tampa, those are the nasty storms that slide on through, and I see I have 3 arrows on the screen. But nonetheless, that's what we are really going to be watching over those couple of hours tomorrow. Now, as we get in towards lunchtime into 3 o'clock, you see that line sagging a little bit further to the south and east, moving through Orlando. I think the severe weather threat goes down just a smidge as it pushes south and east of I-4, closing in on Mico into Melbourne, into the Okeechobee area, Kenansville, Yeehaw Junction, and Osceola County. And then eventually we're still going to be doing a little bit of dodging late Wednesday night, late tomorrow night, and into the early morning hours of Thursday. But by this time, the severe weather threat goes down, with the exception for my friends watching in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, into the Keys. That's still going to be that main strong line that comes through. Ahead of this storm, ahead of the line of storms, you are going to notice the winds really crank up. When you see these darker yellows and oranges and really purples pop up, that's where the winds start to go nuts. So that's early tomorrow morning. And look what happens through the day. There's 11 o'clock. You see there gusts of 30 miles an hour to 34 miles an hour into Ocala. Look at this. That purple showing up. There's 2 o'clock on your Wednesday afternoon. 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts from Sanford into Orlando. Look at that. 40 to 45 mile per hour gusts into the afternoon, continuing through the evening before things gradually wind down and quickly wind down, really, as we get into Wednesday evening. There's 7, 8 o'clock. There's more. That's a cold front. The reason for these storms. we are going to see the temperatures start to tumble significantly as compared to really where we've been over the past couple of years by the time we've turned the page into April. So there's 7 o'clock on your Wednesday, April 3rd. This is 7 a.m. Pensacola, we're in the 60s. Orlando, we're in the 60s. Watch what happens and note the difference. Of course, we have the rain and storms going on at this time. Orlando, I think we get up into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Before those storms get there, we're pushing 90 in Port St. Lucie, still hanging out into the mid-80s in Miami. And then you see the change. This is early in the morning now. On Thursday, April 4th, we have 40s and 50s popping up in the Panhandle of Florida, 60s and 70s still in Central and South Florida. I want to show you what happens, though, as we get into April 5th. Now you see a 40 showing up in Tallahassee. And when I said 40s and 50s before, those are likely going to be the outlying areas that I don't have the actual number there, the forecast number on the map. Nonetheless, it is going to be a shock to the system as a lot of the Florida Peninsula on Tuesday earlier this afternoon, we're pushing 90 degrees. There's 57. We'll start things off in Orlando, 57 also in Fort Myers, hanging around 60 in Tampa. Highs on Thursday, April 5th, getting back into Friday, April 5th, I should say, as we get into the morning or into the afternoon, struggling to get out of the 60s. And then there is Saturday, April 6th, starting things off in the upper 40s and low 50s in the Panhandle. I think we'll get upper 40s northwest of I-4. Orlando, we're in the low to mid 50s, and then the 50s returning to Miami as well. So everybody gets involved on some of this cooler air that starts to spill in from northwest to southeast behind that front starting tomorrow. So again, we've got you covered. If the nasty storms start to erupt here, we're going to be live, of course, as we typically are as the storms slide through. Couple of different options you have here. If you like weather content, by the way, we have a new show on News 6 Plus. It's called Weatherwise. That is a free download. You can download News 6 Plus, and of course, anytime we stream live weather coverage, it's going to be on there. And then that show runs live every day at 8 o'clock, and you can find episodes on demand. If you like weather content and if you like learning about the weather, it's a great show. I host the show, so that's why I'm saying it. I'm a little biased, but I do hope you enjoy it. If you have caught the show, post in the comments if you have. The other way to do it here is, of course, to subscribe to Click Orlando WKMG on YouTube, and you will get a notification when we go live. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that there. But even if you're outside of the greater Central Florida area, if you download the News 6 Plus app, there's a lot of cool things on there. Rocket launches we cover live, certainly weather we cover live on there. And of course, if you want to learn more about the weather and big storms and big systems that impact us, especially as we head into hurricane season, there's a lot of good weather content over there that we provide you guys. So download News 6 Plus. It's a free download, and you can watch it on your smart TV or whatever smart device you have. So do that. It's a good time. Alrighty, guys, be safe out there. Again, watching that line of storms slice on through that arrives late tonight through the day on Wednesday. We got you covered right here. Hit that subscribe button. If you happen to find this content helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. It really does help us out a lot. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you soon.